all the way from UK, almost, via Thailand. Goodness gracious, and I've actually met both Zeno and David earlier on in Shenzhen about a couple of months ago. I found them very intriguing gentlemen and a great message to tell us the cryptocurrency world. They're really shakers and movers, these two guys. So it was a great pleasure now. Their company's in Fibbit, and I'll let them explain all about that. Firstly, big round of applause to our keynote speakers, Mr. David Berg and Zeno Goldsmith.
Hi everyone. Just firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you for Trust Trade putting the event on, and Andrew's speech from IDCM was very, very good, very informative. In this world, the hardest thing is to build bridges. It takes a lot of heart, it takes a lot of effort. After you understand the knowledge yourself, you now take the time to share it with other people. We don't so much have a problem with technology in this world. We don't so much have a problem with finance in this world. We have a problem with our communication. The things that we need, the things that we'd like to do, how we'd like to share our time, how we'd like to create our wealth. I've been involved in, so my family history, my family's been involved in banking and politics for a very, very long time. We started the first bank in Australia, the Financial Street, First Street, where Andrew came from, Australia. It's named after our family there. And we also started the first bank in Virginia and banks in Ireland and the UK. And Zeno, he's a distant relative. It's always wonderful to have Zeno here. Zeno's a very special person. When I was in Thailand, I called Zeno and said, hey Zeno, we've got a lecture I've been asked to do in China for the Chinese government on blockchain, and I'm wondering if you could come help with these lectures. And Zeno was in the rainforest in the Amazon jungle. And he said, sure, I'll come right now. So he jumped on a plane and found himself in Shenzhen.
That's quite a trip, 30 hours. Non-stop bottom system. Quite exhausting, but it was worth it because it's an amazing country. Yeah. That's it, it's an amazing country to be.
And you're about 5 miles, I think, from any car.
I was 10 days walk from Nearest Road, and I was visiting the Zapata and the Achara people tribe in Ecuador. I got an email from them, and I said, read it, and I said, okay, let's come. Let's visit these monkey cool people in China, Macau, Hong Kong. Thank you for having us.
So, interesting, Zeno. So, Zeno comes obviously from a family of investors, politicians in the UK and throughout the world. At the moment, Zeno is involved in the blockchain and crypto space with his funds and looking at a visionary way of how to create social impact. So with creating social impact, there are many ways we can do it. When we look at cryptocurrency, what's going on is we look at it as an opportunity to make money that's stuck unstuck. We look at blockchain as a way to just look at supply chains, how we can guarantee the quality of our food, how we can guarantee contracts, how we can guarantee that a promise given is a promise delivered. When we look at artificial intelligence, we look at it as just a way to expand faster our inventiveness, our ability to scale. We're still scaling human thought, human ideas, but AI is just a way to scale. So, with beginning on this speech, there's so much you can talk about in cryptocurrency and blockchain. I mean, the market's a multiple billion-dollar market. There's so much going on. Zeno and I both have consulted and talked to individuals that are working on every level, from the regulators in the US, where I've spoken to the regulators in the state of Nevada and also in DC of how they're going to approach blockchain, and spoke about it at length in China. And speaking all the way through the Bank of England and what they're going to be doing. We have a list in our presentation of maybe 50 major banks that are taking on this technology. Then we have some of the largest agricultural companies in the world that take on this technology. We have some of the most aggressive investors getting involved in the space. It's not going away, it's going to be here a very long time. And then of course we have groups that traditionally have stayed away from technology that are seeing it's no choice. Whoever doesn't partake in this industry of blockchain, digital exchanges, is going to end up having their lives steered by someone else. So even if you don't want to be a part of it, you don't really have a choice right now. And for Zeno and myself, with our relationships in Asia, we've been building bridges for hundreds of years probably, between Asia and the Western world, our families. And what we want to do is we want to work with incredible, amazing people that want to make social impact, that are looking to create something that's worthwhile, that are wanting to improve the quality of our lives, our infrastructure in our cities, the quality of education, the quality of our food, the quality of our medicine. Tim Draper, he's predicted that the total cryptocurrency market will hit 80 trillion over the next 15 years. Tim Draper is, he has a couple of billion probably behind him. But he's an eccentric guy and he's been quite brilliant. He got early in Hotmail, early in Facebook, early in Google. And we really feel also that it's going to make incredible headways. And the idea behind it is that Google went after the billion-dollar market, databases. But what we're seeing is blockchain, digital exchanges, they go after the trillion-dollar markets.
Everything from healthcare to government to insurance and to banking can actually be blockchain.
Yeah, the first place it was really tested was in the defense industry. Digital timestamps is this, very much like blockchain, was used as a way that we could efficiently create and scale our defense technologies and build very quickly. And from that, we've seen it come into the commercial sector and the public sector of awareness. But it is a technology that's been around for quite some time. And what we are seeing is how quickly the technology is being adopted. It wasn't long ago, 5 years ago, that no one really knew what blockchain was, what Bitcoin was. But one of the biggest motivating factors, it's about wealth, it's about survival, it's about security. I'm sure most people in this room are here because they want to create more wealth for themselves, more security, more opportunity, more health, more awareness, more connectivity. I spent some time with one of the founders, this business partner of Tencent, just recently, and they're looking at a project where they're going to actually blockchain everything. So every piece of data, every document, everything will be blockchained. And there's a project going on right now, that has support from some of the governments. And it's quite interesting, the idea that anytime someone puts something on the internet, then we're going to know who put it there, why it was put there, the reasons. It's a little bit scary, but it's moving this direction. One of the great things about blockchain from just at a tech level is that when we get into robotics, when we go to build cities, the idea is that we can build cities in weeks, not just years. Because once you can work out the robotics, once you can blockchain supply chains, once you don't have errors, once you know how much cement is needed, once you know how to get your government regulations across the line, once you coordinate this in real time and gamify this, you build things very quickly. We're limited how quickly we can build by the limitations we created by our needs on insurance, our inability to know whether we have supplies or not, whether we have the funds to complete things. I was consulting two very large casino builds going on over in Macau. There's a lot of litigation going on, and they're questioning, can we put our construction of these casinos on a blockchain? Can we put everything from the regulations of the government? Can we put the build? Can we put the contracts? Can we put the workers? And when they do something, can we actually index it? And the answer is yes, we can pretty much do anything with this technology. And that's what's going on. This technology is going to take over, we think, most areas. Most areas that involve trust, most areas that involve money, Most areas that involve security, insurance, health, things that matter. And even if it doesn't work the way people think, the politicians are going to get behind these buzzwords because they want to get elected. They're going to promise the people trust. And they're going to prove it through technology, the same way we've done before. And we're going to see blockchain as one of those things. With the US government, they came with a report this year, and they said that they're going to keep the space open. When I talked about regulators in Las Vegas, where some of the exchanges are located, they're not going to touch the space for about 3 years. They want to see it grow big, they want to see people make a lot of money, and then they're going to work out how to tax it. Then it's going to get really interesting. You know, we're looking out our crystal ball and we kind of see that maybe in 10 years, there's only going to be a couple exchanges left. You know, I hope it's one of Andrew's exchanges. Everyone's going to be coming off the exchanges, coins, ideas. You're going to see that all these companies merge. They're going to come under a name, it's going to be like Google, Yahoo. In this room, we might find all of ourselves working together on the same company one day, and that's normal. It's going to happen. So I don't see anyone in this room as a competitor. I don't see anyone in this room as someone who can do it by themselves. I see in this room what we have is a bunch of people who are aware, are conscious, know what's going on, and know that if you partake early, like they would have partaken early when the internet got started. I spent time with some of the founders of Google, and I spoke to them when they did their startup. And if you would have partaken in their ideas, and I see in this room, we know it's going to be a $1 trillion industry. So can we work together? Can we collaborate? Can we help each other? Can we have an open dialogue? Because in this room are people who are going to be leaders. Don't know who, don't know how many, but they are. You're here. You're aware of the knowledge. And in 15 years, your kids, your family will all be having their mobile phone. They'll have cryptocurrencies. They'll have security currencies. All these type of things. It's going to be normal. I consulted a group in the Thai government. They're going to have a cryptocurrency next year. I consulted in a project in Venezuela when they were going to put their crypto onto oil. I've spoken to the regulators in Mexico. They're just worried about the tax. I've spoken to the regulators in Macau. I think Macau is going to be a big player. It's very exciting what's going over there. I've spoken to the regulators in Australia. They're very excited about what it can do for commodities in the mining industry. I've consulted with Zeno probably about 50 different projects. In Australia, we're looking at, it's already started the commodity tokenization of gold. It's already started the lithium mines, ICOs to develop electric power, solar power, based off leveraging the mines in Australia, raw materials. What we're going to find is that pretty much everything can be tokenized. We just consulted on a project on the Amazon. At the moment, there's millions of gallons of water being stolen from the Amazon jungle. How does it affect us? Well, we don't know yet. But obviously, when you've got pirate ships coming in on the sides of oil tankers and taking massive amounts of water, selling that water on the black market, something's going to happen. So can we give value to nature? Can we give nature rights? If we make 1 gallon of water equal 10 cents, will people start wanting clean water? Will people start participating and working on ways to make money from water?
It is really inspiring. When I was in Ecuador, I was talking with some heads of state there, and they just put into the biggest legislation this movement called the rights of nature. And it looks at, it actually gives nature the same rights as human beings do. And meaning that we always want to be focusing on everything, every project that honors the natural cycles of the environment and how to stabilize it. I mean, yeah, we can all, because we're so transparent in this manner, we can create particular certifications which honor the rights of nature and create some certification in that manner. Good.
Yeah, we just had a consultation with the chair of US Greenpeace. One of Zeno's really good friends, Zeno's father was very big in the environmental, in the the UK. He's a wonderful politician in the UK. And the gentleman's name is Tom Newmark, and he was very successful in the functional foods market in the US, had national supply chains with foods. He's just got an agreement with 5 of the largest agriculture and also the food companies in the world. And they're looking at how they're going to supply these food companies using ideas of blockchain so they can measure the carbon impact of sustainable farming, to show value, to show that if you farm in a certain way organically, you can affect the rain, you can affect how much can be grown, you can affect the quality of the health of people. And it's a really interesting area because the big companies are getting behind it. Whether you don't want to believe that quality of food matters or not, it doesn't matter. The people who are steering these industries are taking those, and it's going to matter. We're also going to see, this is going on, we have a project right now where 1 kilogram of rice will be equal to 1 token. And we run the data, and you're going to find farmers can charge 2 to 3 times more working directly with buyers. Because by indexing on blockchain, the promise that is made is the promise that's given. You're able to show the quality, indexing incrementally on the blockchain, of the fertilizer. You're able to show the quality of the food that's grown. You're able to show how it's transported. You're able to show the consumers buying it, and they're able to rate it, and it's able to be indexed. We can push away from this mass marketing problems where people are lying about the quality of things. Because when you leave a comment on something that's going to be indexed, you can't hide. We're moving into a world of smart cities where there is no hiding. So there's just so much to talk about, and I know Andrew said he came from JP Morgan, so I thought it'd be fun to show this. And this is in 2016. I mean, we're in 2018, so it's probably like wearing an old suit. But some old suits did well, and a nice cut never grows old. So when we look at JP Morgan, they did announce a partner with a startup of digital asset holdings to look at blockchain. And when we look at JP Morgan, they wrote a whole paper on commodities. The idea of doing gold, oil, etc. Everyone's looking at this. It's going to be very, very big. And I know Andrew talked about STOs, and it's a nice buzzword going on right now, STOs. But really, we just got out of IPOs. Right now, IPOs nearly reduced to half in America. But ICOs, there was an article that came out about 14 billion in ICOs went through. In Asia, I think there's about 6 billion ICOs. Right now, we don't need that paperwork. Do we really need the overburden some regulation? Or can we rely on blockchain? Can we rely on knowing people? Can we rely on collaboration? When we look at ROIs, Mega Capital, they show that if you would have invested in every ICO last year blindfolded, I think it was Zeno, how much percent return?
10,000%.
About 1,300.
Yeah.
1,300% return.
Got excited there. That was actually Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera Capital Fund did a 10,000% net return for their investors investing in crypto. So when we look at, and we just had a chat to one of your friends who works in an ultra high net office for very wealthy families. And when you talk about the type of ROIs that, really large money, foundations, they're dancing around 7-8%, some of these guys. And you've got some young kids, is the way they would look at it, coming in this new technology. They're posting 10,000%. I mean, it's ungodly. It's like, you don't know how to take it at first. Is this a joke? Is someone trolling me? And then so we went through and we found 200 ICOs where people had got ICOs as a Spectra, whereas a 50,000 return for $100, all the way down to the 200th one was still a 3x. And we were just talking to a very high fund manager, and they're now moving into space. This is just today, and they have a company which I can't mention who it is, but they're giving out about $300 a month in loans and credit, and they're going to be looking at moving everything on blockchain. So it's a top-down approach, and there's really just so much to talk about. So to make it interesting for you guys, because we could go on for days on the subject. We're going to move the mic around. If every person can tell us, if you'd like to, your name and what you're interested in knowing more about, and we can move this conversation to a small group towards that. Thanks.
Yeah, you just mentioned that IPOs are not great, but ICOs are great because we have less paperwork and all projects can go faster and it's better. I don't agree with you because with ICOs, 99.9% of blockchain is scam. I mean, like, so many, I know so many projects who gave money, spent more than the half for marketing, and that's it. They've been talking about some really great projects, but they did no implementation to real life. So what I think personally, we need to get more regulations to all teams and team members. What do you think about my idea?
Yeah, I think it's going to come from both sides. You got people who want to regulate everything. It always has been in history. And you got people that want more of an open society where it's based off trust and values, to where it's collaboration to know the people and you need enough space to be creative. How are you supposed to invent the next light bulb if regulators are on you so hard that when you go to do research and do things, you don't have enough room to actually experiment, then you don't have enough room to get your product in the market. So yeah, sure, I think there's a place for that. And we already have IPOs. It's not going to go away probably. And for yourself, with your money, and how much of your money you want to invest in IPOs, you're 100% able to do that. And then you've got ICOs and how much of your money you'd like to invest in that. You can do that also. So to clarify my position on that is that I think we need to leave ICOs to where you can have companies and people who have some of these great ideas that maybe some of them don't work. But people can have the opportunity to participate and invest. I don't think 99.9% scams. I mean, if you've got data, you can email to me.
Name me good and great projects which has an implementation to real life.
Sure. I think a good project was there was an ICO which was to raise capital for a renewable energy fund in the UK, and so they're investing their money into different types of renewable energy. They're getting good returns, and I can email you data on them if you like.
No, but did it change our lives?
I mean, for people who are into renewable energy, people who follow that, people who couldn't get, investment they wanted to make this type of social change, it's something that worked for them. And I think creating opportunity to where you can have people that, if they can't get traditional finance, have an opportunity, if people want to invest their money in that, they can do that also. I think allowing people to have choice is what's important. And, when